So what's the go? People. I actually don't understand the dynamic of people. I know I'm a people, but from my experience, anyway, sorry, let's get into this. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be watching this on our wonderfully fine planet. Today I'm going to obviously talk about people and repeating things over and over and over and over. And if I could probably say one more time to get the emphasis on this, like fucking over. I just don't get it. Anyhow, do the things, the buttons, and share, like. Look, I know most people go on and look at this and they don't click the like button. Like I've said in the past, it doesn't really matter, but I need my ego boosted and tickled just a little bit. So, like, as soon as you get on, and if you choose to look at it, just click the like button, go through a couple of minutes. If you don't like it, just turn the like button off. Like, all of the people you subscribe to and all the videos you watch, I'd encourage them to do more, because you obviously watch them. Click the like button. It's actually not hard to do. As for subscribing and sharing, well, that's up to you, well and truly. I like it, but if you like it. All right, so on to the topic. People. I love people. I'm a real people person. As you can see, I'm quite shy in my demeanour and I find talking quite uncomfortable. But the reality is I do love people. What I think the hardest thing about people is there's very, very few in my experience that actually learn from their mistakes. And this all comes down to a personal thing, like individually. And this then it expands out from there. So let's go, I made a mistake. First point of call is to acknowledge that I made the mistake. Yep, I screwed up. I probably shouldn't have said that and I probably shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry for saying what I said. I didn't mean it to have the effect that it had. Or I'm sorry for doing what I did. I didn't mean it for it to happen that way. So that's really the first step on acknowledging mistakes and not letting them happen again. Because if you are genuinely sorry for either saying something that you meant to say, but it hurt someone, then your apology changes. But if you're genuinely sorry for it, then you won't do it again. Yeah? I believe that to be true. So just to go back, rewind a fraction, if you say something to someone that needed to be said and it hurt them, then you could have said it differently, but it still needed to be said. So your apology isn't for what was said, it was the way it was said. So you can actually cover your butt a little bit by saying, look, I'm really sorry I hurt you. I didn't mean to say it that way. Then they'll come back, well, what way did you mean to say it? And then you go, I'm not going to tread that now, because those people aren't in the space to hear the right way of saying it anyway. But it gives you time to reflect, to come back to them later with saying, I didn't mean to say it this way, I needed it to be that way instead. And they calm down, problem solved. But individually, if you can do that, then if you're in a relationship and your partner does the same thing with themselves, then you'll come together and resolve a problem. Because you both come into a situation where you'll say something and it goes bang, your situation is blown out, but both of you come to it with a sane, compass mind and go, well, I can work that one out and let's solve it. Then the two of you have solved that. The people underneath you in the umbrella of your family, your children, will learn the strategy on how to deal with that as well, and they will start doing it. And if they start doing it, it filters out to your friend group, because your friend group watch how you do it and watch how you and your partner and family do it. And they go, oh, I really like that way of doing it. Then they do it. Now, you don't have to teach them. You've just got to do it. And then from the family out to the friend group, hopefully, they'll extend it out to 10 of their friend group, and it becomes a community change, which then becomes a suburban change, which becomes a city change, which becomes a state change, which becomes a national change, which in time becomes a country change, which becomes a global change. Now, I'm just going back to a couple of stories, a couple of videos ago about God and Jesus and all that sort of stuff. Now, 2,000 years ago plus, or whatever, he came on, John the Baptist, whoever they were, and said, and actually gave us tools to make that change, right? So For 2,000 years, we've had the idea and the tool, the simple tool of love your God, whatever you conceive it to be, and treat people the way you want to be treated is the only tool that you need to have. And yourself, of course. Well, you treat yourself the way you want other people to treat you, and the problem's solved. But for 2,000 years or more, we've been going around and around and around and just redoing this stuff continually. What is it? Why? People, like, if you're watching this and you get to this point, just tell me, like, give me some idea. Why do people continually do things that they know is wrong? They continually say things to people that they know hurt people. What's the deal with that? Why do they do that? What is their motivation to do that? I know someone in particular who, in my view, for many years now, I've known to be a narcissistic sociopath, or a sociopathic narcissist. I'm not so sure what order that goes in, but I think you know what the term is. We all know what it means. No care for anyone else and just keeps doing it. They're really, really good because it makes them feel better. They're really nice away from other people when they're away from the closest people that they hurt the most, and friendly and socially acceptable, but come home are complete arses. And I mean this for both male and female. Generally, in my experience, it's about 50-50. I can't say that there's any one or the other. Like, I've had a female sociopathic narcissist in my life, and I've known a male. Actually, I've known a few males and a few females, so I guess it's relatively balanced across the community of or genders of the only two that there are. So again, I ask the question: Am I? Maybe I shouldn't have asked the question. Like, why do people continually do it? Why do men and women continue to repeat the patterns of failed relationship after failed relationship and always pick the same type of person? Why do women pick losers and hope they can change them? Why do men pick Klingons and emotionally struggling women with the hope that they can support them? I don't know why they continually do that when each time they do it, it ends in failure. And I think if we start looking back in, maybe the answer to this is stop looking at people and look at self. So don't look at what the people are doing, and maybe it's not my position and place to question what people do, because people are people, and I don't give a rat's ass, except that I do, because I'm part of people, and I'm part of community, and the people around me are part of my community. And if I see something happening in my surrounding community, I feel obliged to say something and or do something about that, because that's my community. I take ownership of my family and my friends and my neighbours, because it's my job in my mind as a man is to not just look after me. It's not just me. I don't talk, in this case it is this right, I don't talk about anything to do with my wife and I as me. And someone said to me, what are you doing? I don't go, oh, I'm doing this. I say, well, we're going to do this today. We are this. The idea of we is connectivity, as joined and part of something outside of me. So if I was always to say, I'm doing this and my wife's doing that, then I've separated us in that conversation, where I say, we're doing this today, over there we need to get that done, and we need to get that done, and we're going to change, and we're going to work our way around how that's going to work. So straight away the conversation is about we, identifying tasks that we're going to and put out to where they need to go. And at some point it will be, I fixed that today, but Jen did that today. So it's about separating that and making sure that we're not separate in conversation, but we have individual tasks. So I guess for that, people are an important part of us, and to say it's not my place to go say something or do something is neglectful of those people around you who are going to be there to support you in the future, one would hope. So anyway, I'm going to leave that. I'd like some comments on that, because I need to help myself work out what to do with it. I guess the other part of that too thing is these social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Insta, Tube, whatever they are. I actually don't play with them very much, but I get feeds come through from Facebook occasionally, and I read them, I click on a button, oh, that looks like a topic I'm interested in, then I read it and I go, wow, that's fascinating information. And somewhere in that content it says, and there's major flooding happening in the central coast of Queensland. I'm going, yeah, that's not current. So, but it's posted as current. So people are putting things into Facebook hoping to bring some information out that's going to bring our focus onto a point that they want us to see. But what they're failing to recognise is people who actually read it are going to go, well, that's crap, because it's 6 months old or it's 2 years old. So they will then stop reading it. Goes back to the last video. Why should I watch shit about things I have no idea about? I want relevant, current content. I don't want mainstream media. I most definitely don't want... I just saw something come up on my phone. Invasion Day. Invasion Day. It used to be called Australia Day. You know, some woke leftist idiot, Karen White, entitled whatever, says, oh no, we invaded Australia, we didn't colonise it. A little bit like America's Independence Day is not Independence Day, it's anti-English Day. They're like, fuck me, sorry, excuse me, fucking idiots. Anyway, I lost my track. Facebook. All of these social media platforms where I think that they're required, like the idea of Facebook, I think was really, really good at the onset, where I can have my friends that I need to keep touch of, or lost family, I can communicate with them. But I've got like 10 followers on Facebook. That's not true, I've got more than that. But I only know like not even 10% of the 400 or 500 people that are on my Facebook feeds. I'm going, what? And I'm getting shit from these groups that I don't even understand what they are. So I'm going to get rid of them all. Those of you on Facebook who have communicated with me, then you'll stay on and I'll have a talk with you. But the rest of it, they can go, because I really don't get it. And then I'm starting to not believe half the crap that comes through either way. So even in YouTube, I get those shorts and those feeds from people in YouTube that I watch and I still like them. But then they start, well, really? You're different, no different to mainstream media, and you're just giving me an opinion on something. It's your opinion that this happened in Minnesota. Like, okay, well, where's the evidence? And mainstream media is exactly the same. So all these media broadcasters or podcasters are just doing it for the current god of the 21st century. And that god, I think we all know, is money. And everybody does it for money. Everything. Every single thing is done for money. And I want more money, so you give me more money and I'll make this happen and you can make that happen. And we're just going to keep running with money as the goal. And as an example of that, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but here in Australia, there's our banking institutions charge a surcharge or a fee for having a credit card facility attached to your business. And I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it might be not 1.9, maybe 2% on every transaction that you put through a credit card is a surcharge that you have to pay the bank. So that's just fraud. To me, that's just ripping us off 100%. Not only do they have our money to invest in other areas, they're charging us for the use of a facility that should just be free. Surcharges are ridiculous. So shops are forwarding or passing that charge onto their customers. So instead of going, well, I'm going to absorb that as part of my business because that's a tax deduction to me. So if I've got to pay 2 cents or 20 cents for every transaction over $2 or over $20, then I get a tax deduction for that. So by them putting a surcharge on shop and charging their customers an extra 2%, they're actually double dipping. They're actually charging their customer the surcharge that they pay the bank, so the customer pays that, but then they get the extra money, of which then they claim the tax deduction on. Now, I've clearly got this wrong, but this is my logic, right? So I've said to a few places, like, I think a lot of businesses should not charge a surcharge, but should put every single product in their shop up by 1%. So a $2 item is now $2.02. 2 cents, most people go, oh, I don't care. And then they put a big sign behind the can that says, no credit card surcharge applied. I reckon they would increase their sales by 10%. Because people go, oh, I don't pay a surcharge, I just bloody won't come here. Why would I pay Why should I pay a surcharge? Because people are over being ripped off by banks and governments and all these things. And people are doing it themselves in their own small businesses, and they don't realise that they're almost offending their customers by applying a surcharge. But a 1 cent increase on every product, everyone accepts that. Like I accept a 1 cent increase, or a 1% increase on all the items. And then not only do the customer or the business get money from the credit card purchases, their revenue increases from cash purchases as well. So it's like a double, it's a win-win. It's actually 100% win-win. Where a surcharge is a win-lose, or in some cases a lose-lose. So again, people, what's the go with the greed of the current god of money? And we've all got to be 100% in my mind agreeing on that, because every single one of us prays to the god of the bank or the credit card or the salary every bloody day. And whether you are a bushman of the Kalahari or the Serengeti or wherever you might be, they need money to trade. So they'll do some things in their worship of their god plus the money god. It seems like all the other gods are secondary to the dollar god. So start looking at that and seeing where your values are in that. So in saying that, I'm done. I've rabbited on enough. I'm going to schedule these so they'll come out whenever they do. I'd like you to, if you got this far, do that thing, the smash button, like, and do the other bits. And always remember, peace, love and mung beans. Enjoy your journey and be good.